Top of the morning to you. Josh here with USCutter.com, your online St. Patrick's Day decorating supply headquarters. Today we're going to be showing you how to get into high gear for the upcoming St. Patrick's Day holiday using a Sawgrass sublimation printer and some beer mugs and then a few other things that we have hanging around the office. This holiday is one that's aimed towards adults. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And I bet you can already guess what the biggest moneymaker is. I've got a big hint for you on the screen. It's beer. Green beer, beer glasses, beer mugs, bottle openers, koozies, coasters, and more. Beer is just big business. And if you don't believe me, check out some of these facts that I found from the financial website Wallet Hub. More than 33 million partiers around the world are expected to participate in St. Patrick's Day festivities each year. Wallet Hub is also estimating that around $5.9 billion is going to be spent in the name of the Emerald Isle this year alone. So whether or not it's going to be for personal use or you're just going to be hanging out with friends and family or doing a business opportunity at a local bar or some home brewery thing, we're going to show you a couple of great ideas that will help you get into the St. Patrick's Day spirit. Switching over to the computer side of things, the Sawgrass can work with a Mac or PC, and you can print from whatever design program you like. I will be printing from the PC using our Vinyl Master DSR software. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the artwork I'm going to be using. As you saw earlier, I have set out a white coffee mug, a clear beer mug, and then also a frosted beer mug. When we sublimate onto a hard surface, we're putting the ink into the clear polyurethane surface of the mug. We're actually turning it into a gas, and then it's turning into a solid inside that polyurethane coating. So if it has like a white background like the mug does, it's going to show up extremely well. For items like the clear mug or the frosted mug or even a stainless steel bottle opener, it's best to use the darker images and stay away from images because they won't show up as well. Yeah, the gradients aren't going to show up as well, so stay away from those. Once you have your image set up on the page the way you like it, in whatever design program you like, you can go ahead and print. And then once that print page comes up, the only thing you're going to want to do is change your printer over to the Sawgrass Print Manager. Properly converts the file over for printing with sublimation ink. So you don't actually want to send it directly to the Sawgrass printer or your image will actually mess up. Always send it to the Sawgrass Print Manager. Once you have selected the Sawgrass Print Manager as your printer, click the print button and this should automatically open the Sawgrass Print Manager if you already had it running in the background. Once inside the Print Manager, we have a few tabs here. Sawgrass makes everything easy to do by covering everything for you. First thing we want to do is select our substrate. We're doing glass and ceramic mugs, so we're going to select that. I'm also going to set my print quality to high quality since we're going on surfaces that are not white. The next thing that we want to do is select the Green Star QC Pro as our paper and then leave our tray select as the default. It's fine, and then we want to make sure that we have that mirror box checked because we are printing transfers and we do want those to turn out legible. Now the next thing we've got is the layout tab, which I don't really have to mess with since I did my layout inside my design program. Followed by that is the job tab, so if I wanted to increase the amount of printouts of this that I did, or if I wanted to remove one, I could do that there. Followed by that is the color tab, and here is where we're actually going to make some changes. We're going to change the color mode over to photogenic, and then we're going to switch the palette mode over to color sure. This is going to make sure that we get the best print possible for our clear and frosted mugs, and when we're happy, we're just going to click print, and then we're going to let the printer do its thing. Once the printer has completed printing your image, you're going to want to cut your transfers down and try to keep the edge as straight as possible to make it easier when you tape the transfer to the substrate. For the clear mug, you're going to want to apply the transfer around the upper part of the mug as shown in this design right here. When taping the transfer to the mug or something round, you want to start off with the sides of the image so that you can pull it nice and tight before applying the other side. Don't do it from the top and bottom because this can lead to some bad transfers because it won't be fully pulled tight across the edge of the cup or side of the cup or mug. So I always advise you to do this, tape from the sides whenever you're doing a glassware or mug. If you would like more information on the products that I'm using here, you can see that I've been putting the part numbers that you can search in the top right hand corner of any USCutter.com website and it'll come right up. We've also got links to everything down in the video description below if you're interested. Alright, next up we have the frosted mug. Now, if you're using a mug press that has a tapered option, like the 5-in-1 multi-press I'm using today, you're going to want to keep the transfer within the area of the handle so it has enough pressure to transfer correctly. Now, if you have a mug press like say the 4, 5, or 6-in-1 mug press shown here, you'll be able to sublimate a larger area of this mug by using an untapered mug wrap. So I'm also using the same method of taping the sides and then pulling it tight to make sure I get a nice transfer when pressed. Alright, next up we have the 11-ounce coffee mug, and this is going to be an easy one. We just want to make sure that the transfer is on a white spot and that we tape it from the sides and pull it tight like we have been doing. The Sublimation tape dispenser has been a huge help for me while filming this. I really need to get one at home because it saves me a lot of time compared to using my scissors and hands when I'm working by myself. Now that we've wrapped all of our mugs, it's time to press each one of them. Since we will be pressing a lot of mugs that are different sizes, you want to make sure that you have it nice and tight around the mug before you start your transfer. So either while it's cooled down or using a separate mug that doesn't have a transfer on it, you can make sure that you have it fit like so. Now we can start pressing. 210 seconds at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're going to peel them cold. To peel it, we're just going to find a corner of the tape, pull it off, and then start pulling the other half off. If you only did 2 sides, it'll come off really easy, just like you see here. And you can see that we've got great results. You'll notice that it's not going to be as dark, and you're not going to have such a concentrated amount of colors, and it's not popping as much on the clear or frosted mugs as it does on the white mugs, but that's to be expected. Alright, so I got a few more things that we're going to show you here. We're going to make some sandstone coasters, some bottle openers, and then we're going to do a mouse pad and use that as a pitcher coaster. So what I'm going to do is convert my 5-in-1 here over to the heat press mode so that I can start pressing flat things, and then we're going to get started. And I'm using the same printouts from earlier that I did before for the sandstone coasters, so not going to change any settings, or we don't have to go back to the sawgrass mode for that. So you're going to want to make sure that your transfer stays nice and flat on your coaster. So to do that, we're going to apply a little heat tape. And when I'm doing this, I'm going to let the heat tape hang off of the coaster on the bottom part so that I can easily lift it up once we're done pressing it. Because these are going to be very, very hot and I don't want to burn my hands. So once we're done taping the transfer down, we want to cover the coasters with a non-stick sheet or some parchment paper. You want to do that so that your top platen doesn't get dirty. Now I'm very careful with my pressure here because I don't want to break them, so I'm very gentle and make sure that I do have firm pressure, but I'm being gentle when I put it down. And then after 240 seconds at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, they're going to be ready to go. These are going to be extremely hot, so please be careful when handling them. The sandstone coaster isn't white, just like some of the mugs that we used before. So using these same print options as we did before is going to give us a better saturated image for these off-white items. And glad I left that tape down because I get this nice easy peel. And I don't burn my hands, always a plus. Next we're going to take a look at bottle openers. These things are nice because I can do both sides at the same time. But when printing this design, we make sure that we want to switch our substrate over to metal, silver, or white, and the Sawgrass Print Manager is shown right here. But leave everything else the same. With this bottle opener, as I said, I'm going to do both sides. And I have my non-stick sheet down so that I don't get anything on the bottom platen of my heat press. I made my image larger than the bottle opener on purpose so that I can cover the entire surface, and I'm also going to tape down the edges so that I can line up the images correctly on both sides. I'm only pressing this for 60 seconds at 400 degrees Fahrenheit with heavy pressure, but it's going to be very, very hot when you're done. And you can see I sandwiched it inside my non-stick sheet. Now, when you're peeling it, I'm going to use a knife here so that I don't burn my hands because it's 400 degrees and I don't want to burn my hands, and I'm sure you don't too. But look at this beautiful transfer I got. Man, it is gorgeous. And give me a second here. I'll move it a little closer and flip it over. There we go. And yeah, you can see I got a perfect transfer on both sides. So the final item in today's video is the mouse pad that we're going to make into an oversized coaster for a pitcher of beer. Before printing, you want to make sure you change the substrate in your Sawgrass Print Manager over to mouse pad and leaving everything else as the same as before and then hitting print. Don't really need to tape this down, just going to line it up and make sure it's straight before covering it with a non-stick sheet or parchment paper and pressing it for 45 seconds at 400 degrees Fahrenheit with high pressure, and we will have a beautiful transfer if we follow those instructions. The mouse pad has a white polyester layer over the top of it, so you're going to get really good colors, and I'm using the 3mm mouse pad in this video. And that transfer came out really well. I love this mouse pad. Now you can see that all of these turned out really well. We have nice clear transfers on everything because of the print settings that we chose, but now the true test is to fill it with beer and have a drink. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to watch this, and please feel free to stop by our website at www.USCutter.com to see everything else we have to offer that can help you out with the St. Patrick's Day. Have a wonderful day and happy St. Patrick's Day. Take care.